Hi everyone, this is Xander Breach, and this is Wisdom on the Importance of Being Single Part 2. Before I continue, I must say I am not shoving my beliefs on you, and also keep in mind I will be using biblical wisdom for this video, okay? Now on with the wisdom. Today I would like to talk to you about temptation. When you are single, you are going to face temptation. It's not easy, it's not fun, and you got to know how to deal with it and how to handle it in a manner that is right and not wrong. Over the years, I got to admit, and this is a small testimony, I had to deal with temptation. I'm still dealing with it to this day. And it's not fun, it's not easy, and it's a trial. It's a test, and you're going to have to face it. Because when you are fighting for something wonderful, something beautiful, a light at the end of the tunnel, a blessing, temptation comes, and you have to figure out a way to not let it knock you on your face. Okay? So, with that said, I'd like to start off in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. Okay. When you are able to bear temptation, you pray to God. You have someone hold you accountable. Me, on the other hand, I do that all the time. I always make sure I have someone holding me accountable because that's very important. I cannot stress that enough. You make sure that you have a clear head before you go to sleep. You say, God, clear my head. Automatically, your head's cleared. When you pray and you get into the Word, like I'm doing, because that's what I believe in, okay? I want to point that out right quick. When you pray, you get in the Word, you give people wisdom like I'm doing, or you find a way to worship God, temptation becomes bearable. And then you start to think a lot more clearer, and it helps you in the long run. Do not fall into temptation. Because when you are single, you are going to have tests. And anything that tempts you, the enemy will attack you with it. Please keep that in mind. On to the next one. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace, with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Okay. You have to flee from anything that's tempting you. Okay? If you are, let's say, masturbating, alright, and you're a guy or a girl, okay? It can be both sides. It does not matter. You will find yourself being lustful because your thoughts is on pleasure. Your thoughts is on wanting it so bad. You need something to satisfy that pleasure, so you do that. You have to find something else to satisfy yourself with. Praying is one. Maybe listening to music. Find something to satisfy yourself with, because if you don't, you will fall into temptation, and it's not a good thing. It's terrible. Okay? And you know, when you call out, okay, you call out by prayer. You call out to God and say, God, clear my mind. And a lot of times you're going to have to give up on things that cause you to go down the train of lust. Go down into a mindset that you're not supposed to go down. Okay? So, now that we got that cleared up, on to the next. And please keep everything I tell you in mind. It's very, very important. I cannot stress that enough. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners. Okay, evil communications. We're looking at people saying that the Bible tells you it's alright to have sex. And you know the Bible says differently. That's called twisting the word. That will corrupt the good manners you have to where you don't want to have sex and you want to wait till after marriage. Okay? You do not, I repeat, you do not want to be deceived by that. I had someone I was dating for a short amount of time last year who did exactly that. And I had to cut the cord. God told me, break up with her. What did I do? I broke up with her. And in turn, I got blessed and he helped her and he helped me. It was phenomenal. Mind blowing. You want something like that. You want a mind blowing experience. Okay? You don't want to go through something and realize later, like, man, I made a mistake. And it leads to all different things when you make a mistake. The enemy can use your mistakes to bring shame, regret, and you don't want that in your life. I cannot stress that enough. Last one. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. Rather therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. Okay, there's something I learned with a family member on my mother's side. I look at this and it's basically telling me do the right thing. You know what the right thing is. Do it. And that is actually my family legacy on my mother's side. Sorry, I forgot to put that in right quick, but doing the right thing is very important, okay? You know what the right thing is. Do it. You're going to drive yourself crazy if you don't. Do the right thing. It's important that you do. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in deep trouble. You're going to find yourself in a situation you don't want to get into. And you really got to give this some thought, okay? You got to give a lot of what you're doing thought before you do it. Think before you do. That's another thing that helps you with dealing with temptation. Thinking before you do. You got to think, man, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? No. Know that, the one thing you should be thinking about is that God has you in the palm of his hand saying, do the right thing. And when you do, the thought of, like, is this a good idea or is this a bad idea will come into giving you the answer. Like, this is a bad idea. Let's go for this idea. Okay? You have to think. You have to be able to understand the situation and evaluate what you should and shouldn't do. And that's part of dealing with temptation. I mean, temptation comes in all forms. Pornography, TV, anything that rattles the brain. But you got to know how to deal with it during a time of being single and alone. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. So I end this by saying, God bless you. And like always, it's been an honor to give you wisdom. See you later. Bye.